Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another wonderful episode of Help for the Guiltless. My name, of course, is Antoine, and do I have a doozy of a video for you today. Now, I honestly didn't think I was going to get to do this video. I've been feeling a little under the weather. So if I sound a bit nasally or screechy, that's why. I wasn't sure if I was going to do this video in particular because of the nature of it. This is a very heated subject. And if you've clicked on the link, this is a video about Reily Dennis, who is a transgendered person who is going from male to female, and I will say this, his hair is on fucking point. I don't know what he does, but damn, he must go through conditioner like crazy. So, Reily has some very strange ideas. I have a couple other videos of his that I've been stewing about, but this one kind of jumped to the forefront because other people have been responding to it. I don't know if I'm going to respond to everything because of the length, but there is enough that I'm going to talk about. He seems to believe that if you have preference of attraction, that you are a hateful, discriminatory bigot. And of course that's just not true. But I'm going to let Reily say his piece, and then I will of course interject where I think is necessary. So, let's let Reily start, shall we? And take it away, madam.
Would you date someone who's trans? Would you date someone who's black? Would you date someone who's fat? Would you date someone who's disabled? Now,
slow down, Reily. Let me get a word in edgewise. I haven't really responded to people who do these jump cuts. I don't understand the need for them. They're kind of annoying. Anyway, in short answer to your questions. No, yes, depending on the person. Yes, depending on the person. No, depending on the situation. The disabled thing is an awkward thing. Depending on the disability. Now, I'm not being facetious with this. I'm trying to be honest. If I'm with someone already and they get into a car accident and then become paralyzed from the waist down, the relationship is already there, so I don't have a problem taking care of them. I'm not going to go after the female version of Stephen Hawking. If they're deaf or a little slow or whatever a minor disability would be, again, it depends on the person. I don't have a problem with it. So, like I said, in short answer, no to the first, yes to the second, depending on the attitude of the person, yes to the third, depending on the person's personality, and maybe to the fourth because of the situation that it would garner.
honestly, I don't know what your answer is to those questions, but I've met a surprising number of people who would say no to all or at least some of them.
It's not surprising. You're asking broad questions for specific answers. It doesn't work that way. You said yourself, you've met a lot of people that would say no to those 4 categories. That doesn't make them wrong in saying no. It just means that they're not attracted to that type of person. It's simple.
Their argument is that it's just a preference and that you can't control who you're attracted to. I think
It's just a preference is a logical argument. And your little quip of spoiler, it's not. You're deluding yourself. A gay man is not going to like a woman. A lesbian is not going to like a man. I'm sorry if there's someone that you were attracted to who didn't like you because of who you are.
I think most of the time that this is brought up, it's in regards to race. I'll link to a couple really good videos in the description about racial dating preferences, but in this video, I want to talk about our other biases.
In regards to race, everyone has a list in their heads about who they find most attractive, from Asians to black people. There's nothing wrong with it. They're not saying that number 1 is any better than number 10. They're just saying they prefer number 1, but number 10 is good too.
Let's start with trans people. Would you date a trans person, honestly?
The short answer is no.
Think about it for a second. Okay, got your answer? Well, if you said no, I'm sorry, but that's pretty discriminatory.
Actually, it's not. I'm going to give you the definition of discrimination. And there's a couple key words in here that completely debunk anything you have to say after this. The unjust or prejudicial treatment of different categories of people or things, especially on the grounds of race, age, and sex. The key two words, unjust and prejudicial. If it's unjust, then yes, it's discrimination. If it's prejudicial, it's discrimination. If it's preference, and I am not basing anything on it because of that, it's just because of what I like, it's not unjust. I'm sorry, Riley. I am so sorry. You're wrong. You're flat wrong.
Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you're a horrible person who hates trans people. There was probably a time in my life when I said I wouldn't date a trans person.
But you are saying we're bad people. You're using an inflammatory word, like discrimination. When you say you're discriminating against someone, that brings up ideals and thoughts and, well, pretty much anger towards what's being discriminated against. You're doing it on purpose. You are saying that we're bad people because we don't believe the same thing you do.
But since then, I've thought critically about it and changed my mind. I could sit here and show you photos of conventionally attractive trans people. There are definitely trans people who you would never know are trans unless they told you, because they pass for cis. And that might convince some of you. But I think arguing that you would only like a trans person if you didn't know they were trans is a poor argument. I think you could be attracted to any trans person, whether they pass or not.
Yes, you can outwardly be attracted to a passing trans person. But if a woman with a penis is not your forte, once you find out that that attractive woman has a penis, it's a deal breaker. You don't want the penis, so thus the woman no longer becomes attractive.
I think the main concern that people have in regards to dating a trans person is that they won't have the genitals that they expect. Because we associate penises with men and vaginas with women, some people think they could never date a trans man with a vagina or a trans woman with a penis.
You are talking about two different things. On the one hand you have dating, on the other you have a relationship. You can go on dates without having sex. But if I'm in a relationship, long-term or not, and I am planning on having sex with that person, they kind of have to have the genitalia that I'm attracted to. So if I find out the woman, the very attractive woman I've been dating for the last week, has a penis, it's a deal breaker, because I am not into it. It doesn't matter how awesome her personality is. The two male parts don't work for me. Do you understand that?
But I think that people are more than their genitals. I think that you could feel attraction to someone without knowing what's between their legs.
Attraction and intercourse. Again, two separate things. I can be attracted to Blair White, but I know a relationship could never happen between us because of what she has between her legs. I'm not attracted to that.
And if you were to say that you're only attracted to people with vaginas or people with penises, it really feels like you're reducing people just to their genitals. You're kind of objectifying them, but you're thinking of them more as genitals than objects. So I guess you're kind of genitalifying them?
We're dealing with sex. We're dealing with attraction. So yes, we're objectifying the person, male or female. And you're not being quippy or punny. So just stop, please.
Anyway, my point is, we have implicit biases that we were raised with or that we developed over time, and they can be hard to get rid of. And I think this can be especially prominent within the queer community.
I want you to think about what you just said. You're someone who got pissed off about Mike Pence and his belief in electroconversion therapy. You are basically talking about the same exact thing. Unlearning something that you prefer. What's the difference? Honestly, please tell me, what's the difference? Because one uses electricity and the other one is what you believe to be true? If that's the only difference, you're no better than Mike Pence.
Someone who is trans and gay, sometimes people ask me with a very accusatory tone if I would date a girl with a penis. Because there's this stereotype that trans lesbians are just predatory cis men creeping on cis women. But the thing is, I absolutely could be attracted to a woman with a penis. I could be attracted to any woman, cis or trans. If I find you attractive, I don't care what you have down there. But
That's just you, Riley. Just you. And if you can do that, that's fine. Here's an analogy for you. I can jump out of a 6-story window and walk away with just a sprained ankle. Are you going to take that chance? Because that's exactly what you're asking everyone else to do. Because you can do it, everyone else should do it too. It doesn't work that way. People have preference because that's what they're attracted to.
We know that sexual orientations are more innate than learned. They're more nature and less nurture. Gay conversion therapy has been proven not to work, but you can unlearn your own prejudices. It just takes time and conscious effort. And
do you think before you let things just rattle off of your tongue? Riley, you just said gay conversion therapy doesn't work, but you can actively change your thinking if you work at it. That's what conversion therapy is. It's the same exact fucking thing. You contradicted yourself within seconds. But it's okay the way that you put it because it's your way of thinking.
the way that we talk about potentially dating trans people has a lot in common with the way we discuss other...
I love how you put preferences in quotes. As if we can change them, convert to something else, right? I guess if we work at it hard enough. I'm done with this. I thought I was going to be able to make it all the way through. I can't. There are people who have, like the Amazing Atheist. Many people have touched on this video. Look, Riley, you are a nice enough person. You just have some thoughts that don't necessarily work. Now, things that you do are not necessarily the same for everyone else. You have preferences. So, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. It's one thing to say that I hate a person based on what they look like, or what they have between their legs, or what they don't. That's discrimination. It's another thing to say that I'm not attracted to that. I don't find it aesthetically pleasing. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. So, I don't know what you want, Riley. If everyone was like you, the world would die out. Look, all of this comes down to, is preference is not a bad thing. It's never been a bad thing, and it never will be a bad thing. Because there is a difference between what I like and what you like. There's a difference between what you like and what your neighbor likes. You need to keep that in mind. Not everyone is you. Not everyone wants to date someone like you, regardless of how amazing your personality is. So, that's it for me, folks. I will, like I said, link this video down below. You can watch the rest of it if you dare. My name, of course, is Antoine. This has been Help for the Guildless. If you liked what I had to say, let me know in the comments. Hit like, share, subscribe. Help this channel grow. If you didn't like what I had to say, you think I'm an asshole for having preference, let me know down below. You can follow me on Facebook, and you can also follow Cole on Twitch, Twitter, and Tumblr. Thank you for listening, ladies and gentlemen, and have a wonderful evening.